the first pumpkin pie the Pilgrims made.
Part 2. It's tomorrow, of course. I let that pumpkin pie all cool in the refrigerator overnight. It did turn out to be more of a custard, like the book did say. But, you know, it just tastes so good and it's so just yummy that I'm deciding to actually put it into a pie form with the real crust. So in this book I showed you yesterday, the White House Cookbook, which I just love, by the way, I kept a bookmark here on the pie crust. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll read it to you, and then we'll just make the crust. Plain pie crust. 2½ cupfuls of sifted flour, 1 cupful of shortening, half butter, half lard cold, a pinch of salt, a heaping teaspoon of baking powder sifted through the flour. Rub thoroughly the shortening into the flour. Mix together with half a teacupful of cold water, or enough to form a rather stiff dough. Mix as little as possible, just enough to get it into shape to roll out. It must be handled very lightly. This rule is for 2 pies. When you have a little pie crust left, do not throw it away. Roll it thin, cut into small squares, and bake just before tea. And spoonful of raspberry jelly on each square. This is a great way to take out your aggressions. Feels so soothing. is what the pumpkin looked like from yesterday. That looks so good, and it is good. Now the same recipe book from the crust, it says here for pumpkin pie number 1. For 3 pies, but I'm only making 1. 1 quart of milk, 3 cups full of boiled and strained pumpkin, 1½ cupfuls of sugar, 1½ cupfuls of molasses, the yolks and whites of 4 eggs beaten separately, a little salt, 1 tablespoon of each ginger and cinnamon. Best of all, or beat all together and bake with an undercrust. Well, this one here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to omit the molasses because I don't have molasses. So I'm just going to add a little bit more cinnamon sugar or some brown sugar. That would probably be just as suffice. And then let's see here. I already added the milk to the pumpkin yesterday, so I don't know if I'm going to add any more milk because it's pretty well ready on that one. And I already added the ginger and cinnamon. I'll probably just add some more cinnamon because I don't like ginger. Well, actually what I did yesterday, I forgot. I added pumpkin pie spice, which it automatically has ginger in it, just the right amount where it's not too overbearing. And I can handle that kind of ginger. So here we go. I forgot to show me cracking the eggs, but there you have it. Those are 2 of eggs. Instead of 4, I added 2 because the recipe called for 3 pies, but I always add 2 eggs anyway to my pumpkin pie. A whole cup full of packed dark brown sugar. And yes, I make a mess. I always do when I'm cooking. That's brown sugar and flour and everything still. But other than that, it's a clean countertop, just the food. Here's that pie crust. I just brought it back. Here's the fun part. I would show you putting it in the oven, but I'm doing this by myself, so it's kind of hard to do that. Putting it in the oven and filming at the same time. But there you go. The door says almost 400 degrees. That's just about right. So it'll be about an hour and a half, I would say. In the meantime, I need to put more wood in the stove here. It'll start burning again. all the funs of cooking on a wood cook stove. I had to open up the door, it was so hot in here. So you're hearing the crickets and frogs. It is nighttime, by the way. It's raining today. Fall's definitely in the air. Sounds like the neighbors are home. They got donkeys and chickens and dogs. It looks like we've got 10 eggs today. A dark colored chocolate one from my Moran. Let's see, is that more blue or is that more green? It's got a blue. Oh, that one's green. And then we've got one that's got a nice heavy bloom on it. Look at that, I love that one. So yep, there should be more to start laying eggs before too long. We got 28 chickens. We got 2 mini roosters, so we got five roosters, one's just a baby. So it didn't mean to happen that way, but it just did. But they all seem to be pretty good roosters except for one. So hopefully the production picks up before too long.
Hello folks, it's going to get cold out there, so you better get your antifreeze made. This is an old moonshine still I've had for years. I just got done building the top for it, and the cone and everything. It's just kind of a temporary make, but it's a pretty neat old still. Bought that online years ago. They didn't know what it was. It's around Prohibition time when this one was made. But that's all, folks. Stay warm. Bye.
I thought I was recording the whole time. I wasn't. We had already devoured a lot of the pumpkin pie. That's so funny. We were sitting here talking about the moonshine still that he just made and all that. That's just hysterical. No, mine.
I bought that years ago and they didn't know what it was. They just had on their copper pot. And I thought, I know what that is. That's a still.
Yeah, we're sitting out on the deck here where the cabin is and everything. So, and the roosters are just making tons of noise. I think the roosters have been part of my show the whole time when they were being naughty and they interrupted me. So,
yeah, their chickens are running around everywhere. So they're okie dokie.
It's like mom and pa kettle. But what do you think about the pumpkin pie?
Boy, it's good there. It's flaky. It melts right in your mouth.
It's like a 3-day process. Made it the first day or first night, and then let it cool in the refrigerator. Which back then they didn't have the refrigerator. Well, they did. They had ice boxes. And then the second day I made the crust and cooked it, and then let it cool overnight. And now we're eating it in the morning. And look, it's just falling apart. It's not that attractive whenever it's falling apart, but boy, it's good. So those antique recipes, this one here is pretty good.
Best pumpkin pie I've ever eaten.
Straight from the pumpkin and homemade everything. So, all right. Catch you later, and hopefully everyone enjoys your day. Yeah, stay warm. And I'll take a picture of the recipes and put them in the description. I'll put them at the very